guys? Welcome to another episode of the Goose of All Trades podcast. This is also the first visual podcast that we're doing, so this will be available obviously on here, my YouTube channel, but it'll also be available in just audio format on my Goose of All Trades podcast page. So that'll be linked in the description. Now, as always, if you do like my content, please hit that like button and that subscribe button if you would like. And also check out my links down below to my other channels, to my Twitch and to my merchandise. Now, to get into the video, I'll be doing a few reviews on 5 movies and TV shows. That'll include the Mulan remake, the South Korean film Forgotten, the Netflix film Sightless, the Netflix docu-series Age of Samurai, and the indie horror thriller film The Super. Now, to the first film on Goose of All Trades review is the Mulan remake. Now, I was really excited for this movie. Obviously, it was meant to be released in March of last year. It was not released due to the obviously coronavirus pandemic. So the world pretty much went into lockdown the week that it was meant to be released. I think it was maybe released for a day, and then they took everything out of cinemas, including the Disney film Onward as well. So Disney really took a big hit, like a lot of people in the world have. So Mulan was then postponed, and then it come to the point, I think around Christmas, they thought, okay, it's going to be solely released on Disney Plus, but you have to pay about $30-$35 Australian to buy this movie. Now, a lot of people were not going to pay that, including me. I was not going to pay that much to buy a movie that I wasn't sure I was even going to like. But yeah, no, I finally, when it's become free to watch on Disney Plus a couple of weeks ago, I did sit down and watch this. All in all, there'll be a few spoilers for this one, but I mean, if you've seen the original animated Mulan from 1998, it's really not going to make a difference, because if you've seen that, then this is quite similar, really. Now, my biggest issue with this one is no Mushu or the cricket. Now, everyone knows Mushu, voiced by Eddie Murphy, is one of the highlights of the movie, as in Eddie Murphy's roles always are when he does voice acting. Now, honestly, I don't generally mind that those two characters weren't in this movie, because I got from the trailer and from the early synopsis that this was going to be like a realism type movie. But then getting halfway through, I realised it wasn't. So there's still magic, there's still black magic, there's witches and warlocks and that type of stuff. So they didn't really go for a full realistic approach. Yeah, so it wasn't even the spirituality, it was full on fantasy style. Now that really irks me, that I understand that, pardon the pun, the Mushu is quite cartoonish and they didn't really want to use him too much because they still wanted like a serious movie. I get that. But they could have really incorporated the cricket as a really big, like good luck charm to her. Literally just a cricket in a thing that keeps her company, blah blah blah. But they introduced the phoenix instead, because it was her family's, I don't know how to describe it, kind of like a family thing that overlooks a family, kind of thing of the word. But yeah, aside from that, the villain was really disappointing. I don't even remember his name. Now, this guy, Shan Yu, he was intimidating. He was believable as a villain that he wanted to conquer China. Now, obviously, he was really, like almost directly based upon Genghis Khan, which is really cool because that was very historically accurate. If it wasn't for the Great Wall of China and China's defense systems, Genghis Khan would have ended up ruling half the world, honestly. So that was one of the highlights of the original film, was Shan Yu, how intimidating he was. I know it's easy in animation to draw someone like look intimidating, but this guy, I can't even think of the actor's name, but he did play Bruce Lee in a Bruce Lee biopic from the 90s, and his acting is not great. He's martial arts trained, but I also think he's an actor by trade, but he was also trained in martial arts as well. So I understand kind of their thought process behind that is, okay, we get a guy, we think he brings a bit of credibility, because he played Bruce Lee, a few people know him, he's obviously Asian, but biggest thing about this movie is that they cast martial arts people like Jet Li, Donnie Yen. They do not utilise any of them. Now, that could have been on the cutting room floor. That might have been edited out, all these fight scenes and stuff, but it still irks me that they have Donnie Yen, one of the biggest martial arts movie stars of the decade. You have Jet Li up there with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee as the greatest martial arts film stars of all time. He gets misused. And then you have things, Jason Scott Lee, I'm pretty sure is his name, that plays the villain. He has a bit more action than the other two. Donnie Yen, all he really gets to do is show off his solo style type martial arts when he's showing the recruits how to do everything. But yeah, he actually doesn't really go one-on-one with many people. The same goes for Jet Li. Now, their acting isn't great, but their acting doesn't need to be great if they're given a role for a specific reason. But they were just wasted. So using martial arts guys that don't have any martial arts scenes and they can't act very well adds a big staleness to the movie, and it really did. It was very flat. The acting was not great. Now, the girl that played Mulan, she was fantastic. Perfect casting. Her acting was great. She had the look. She was perfect. Casting in general was good. They obviously changed that Mulan falls in love with another recruit instead of her direct commander or someone above her. So it kind of cuts into the chemistry that people are going to laugh. So animated characters can't have chemistry. Trust me, they can. From the directing, writing, animation, voice acting, they have chemistry. In the 1998 animated Disney one, they had chemistry because they had that layer there, was that she was a woman pretending to be a young man who was not very good at fighting but had the willpower to try and learn to do so, and the commander being above her, being great physical shape. He was one of the greatest fighters in Japan at that time. He was just young and a bit underdone, and she ended up breaking that barrier and making him fall in love with her, even though he thought that she was a man. So it really creates layers. In this one, it's kind of like, oh, you know, he's good looking, she's good looking. They become friends because they both have very good honour and they want to honour their families and protect China and all that. But it just doesn't add up to the original chemistry that they had in the original animated film. Now, all in all, would I recommend this movie? Probably not. Now, will your kids like it? Maybe, but it hasn't got singing, it hasn't got dancing. It's not very pretty on the eyes, so there's probably the demographic of 8 to 12-year-olds who will probably like this movie. Adults may enjoy it because it is big budget. It does, some of the things do look good, but as a Disney fan and as a fan of the original one, Mulan, the original, is probably one of my favourite all-time Disney movies, up there with Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Black Cauldron. So I was very, very disappointed. I can see why people would like this movie that aren't fans of the Mulan movie or don't like animated movies. They could be a fan of this, but I am not. There's better Disney remakes out there, like The Jungle Book is still the top tier of Disney remakes, and they're yet to actually reach that pinnacle of remakes since then. All the other ones have been meh or crap. So yeah, on that note, onto another film. Now this is a independent South Korean film called Forgotten. Now this was released in 2017. I think it had a very, very limited release in America, and got, I'm pretty sure, a close to wide release in South Korea. But what really blew this movie up was that it got picked up by Netflix, so internationally it's known as a Netflix film, even though Netflix had nothing to do with the production. But that's what Netflix does with international movies, is they buy the international streaming rights, so technically they can say that it's a film anywhere other than South Korea. Now this movie, I read the synopsis, so it's when his abducted brother returns seemingly a different man with no memory of the past 19 days. Jin Suk chases after the truth behind the kidnapping. So it's quite a vague synopsis, and the trailer is, I wouldn't say the trailer is vague, but the trailer does leave a lot to imagination and really pulls me in, like, oh, you know what, I actually want to watch this. So it's one of those trailers where it doesn't show too much, but it shows enough, and that's what pulled me in. I'm like, you know what, I'm in the mood for a thriller, I'm in the mood for watching an international film. This one caught my eye straight away, and I watched it and I fell in love. So I watched this at midnight. I was a bit tired and I thought, okay, I'm going to try and focus on this movie because it looks like I need a bit of focus. Got 20 minutes and I'm thinking, should I turn this off, watch it tomorrow when I'm more awake? I just kept watching, and it literally was that good and had me on the edge of my seat that I sprung awake, and I'm like, I have to watch this movie. I really have to watch this movie. Now, yeah, so the poster's here. Now, the poster is even vague itself. Really does not reveal a lot, but once you know the end twist and the end plot and what the movie was actually about, then the poster makes sense. But it's one of those things where you're never going to know that. Dogs running around. So yeah, I mean, the acting in this is just fantastic. The writing is fantastic. The pacing, you honestly could not do the pacing better. It's like doom, 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 doom. So it's quick, it's slow. It's quick, it's slow. Some movies, they go like this, which is fine. And other movies, they kind of this is literally like that, which is fantastic. Yeah, I can't really reveal too much because I really don't want to give spoilers to this one, but if you can handle subtitles and you're in for a movie that's going to blow your mind and something so original that's not cliche in any form, I really recommend Forgotten. I can't talk about it obviously too much, like I said, because I don't want to reveal the twist or anything like that, but nothing is what it seems. And I mean, not in the movie sense, like I'm not giving away the plot line of the movie that it's all a dream, whatever, nothing like that. I mean, the plot and the trailer and the poster is not as what it seems, and you'll know that if you watch it, and I really recommend it. On to the next movie is another Netflix movie that was actually made by Netflix and distributed by Netflix, and this is called Sightless. Now this pulled me in because like I said, I like watching thrillers, and this had Madeline Petch from the Riverdale fame. Now I do admit I did watch Riverdale for about a season and a half. It got too shit, I stopped watching it. But I do like a lot of the actresses and actors in it, hence why when they pop up in anything, especially when it's thriller or horror, I will watch it. And Madeline Petch always had that ability that she could do really well in horror and really well in thriller. She was in another horror movie by Netflix called Polaroid. She's known as the opening girl. I don't want to give anything away. If you haven't seen the movie Polaroid, it's not a great movie, but I don't want to give anything away. But if you know the terms in horror, then she's the opening girl in that. So she does have a massive role. But she was good in that, in the bit she had. And then obviously she's the lead role in Sightless. Now Sightless is about a woman that loses her eyesight, in an attack by pretty much like a toxic spray. So it's pretty much poison, and she loses her sight. She's probably never ever going to get it back. It throws you in straight away. So the opening scene is literally little glimpses of her remembering the attack. You don't know much. You don't really see the assailant. You see her for a little second, and she's in a hospital bed. She gets to know the nurse, all that, and then she ends up going to an apartment. Again, can't talk too much about this movie because it's got a twist. But I do like to brag, I did guess this twist. I did not guess the one in Forgotten, but I did guess this one. So I'm very, very happy with that. I mean, it's not really a big, like, whoa, surprise, but it is a very, very good twist. Even though I guess it was very well done. There's something with a good twist, and then there's also the execution of the twist. That can make or break a movie. This movie did both really good. Not as good as Forgotten, but this did it well. Now, the whole pretty much synopsis for this movie is that she still thinks that the assailant is out there, and she's trying to let everyone in her life know that they're trying to get her. She feels as though they're breaking into her house, watching her when she's sleeping, and all that type of stuff. Now, this movie is one of those movies where they obviously save money on budget and whatnot. It's 97% of the movie is her in her apartment, which I like movies like that, because if you can make a movie that's in one area of a house or one setting for the whole movie on a deserted island or whatever, you can really focus on the dialogue, the actor, the acting in general, all that. You can focus more on that instead of focusing more on the setting of like a different place every time. Yeah, it also makes filming a lot quicker, cheaper, and like I said, you can solely focus on a few things instead of a million things. Like I said, the acting in this is pretty good. There's not a lot of actors in this. There's probably about 6 or 7. Like I said, it's mainly her in her apartment. So there's like a cop, there's the neighbours, there's the nurse, doctors, ambulance. So yeah, there'd be between probably about 6 and 10 characters. So mainly the acting revolves around the detective, Madeline Petsch is the lead actress, her nurse/helper, and next door neighbour. And all the acting is great, but Madeline Petsch she's fantastic in this. I think she should get out of Riverdale as quick as she can. I think she's given a lot to that show, and the show's given a lot to her, but I think it's kind of time to sever ties. Her and KJ Apa are the two that I think should branch out and do other things. They don't want to be pulled down by Riverdale, whilst Riverdale was getting really, really bad, and it's just, the perception of the show is not great anymore, what it used to be. I think she's got a future in this type of film. Now, you never want to be typecast in thrillers or horrors or anything like that, because that just spells doom for your career. But you have someone like Liam Neeson, he does action movies, yeah, but every action movie is completely different, and they don't really get stagnant. I mean, they're starting to get stagnant now, but he's been doing it for 20 years. So I think Madeline Petsch has definitely got a career in doing horror, thrillers, if that be TV shows, movies, whatever. She's definitely got can't speak English, a future in it. Yeah, great twist, good pacing in this one as well. The pacing, yeah, is one of those ones that slowly creeps up, but the pacing is very, very good. Now on to the next one is one of my all-time favourite Netflix production is Age of Samurai. Now this is one of those Netflix shows where a lot of their documentary series are, it's kind of 70% documentary, 30% scripted. So there's acting and dialogue, but not heaps. It kind of focuses more on historians and whatnot, and family members talk about the history. So it's pretty much is 6 episodes spread over nearly 100-year period in Japan in the 1500s. About the country itself was in civil war for over 100 years, about 150 years. And this pretty much focuses on how one samurai changed how Japan is now what it is. Like their whole political system, the different provinces in Japan, it was literally almost all formed by 3 different people. And they were all directly connected. And like I said, I don't want to give anything away because I'm a big history buff, especially when it comes to Asian culture. I'm probably more so into the ancient side of it. But I did know a little bit, bits and pieces of between 14 to 1800s. A lot of stuff I did not know in this show. And the casting is also very good in the way that they look like they are descendants of the people they're playing. Even if you're not a big history buff, if you're not big on like the History Channel documentaries or anything like that, this one is really good. I highly recommend it, honestly, trust me. Because it's like a Game of Thrones style type show, but it's backed up by historians saying, no, this really happened, and it might seem like it's scripted, but no, this really did happen. He really did that, she really did this. It's very, very good. It's really such a great show. You'll find yourself binging it, 6 episodes, a rainy Sunday or a rainy whatever day, or you're hungover, you don't feel like doing anything. I was sick when I watched it. I was bedridden with a cold, and I binged all 6 episodes. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. Yeah, on to the last review of the episode, we have The Super. Now, the reason why I watched this is Val Kilmer. I'll watch anything with Val Kilmer, and this really intrigued me. As you see with the poster, is that pulls me in with the poster thinking, oh, this looks creepy. Val Kilmer looks like he's going to be like a really good bad guy. Another one with a really good twist. So I did, for last week, I did watch a lot of movies and TV shows with twists and whatnot. This, again, has a really good twist. It is not cliche. It is not boring or anything like that. It wasn't predictable at any turn. Val Kilmer, this sickness, a lot of people, if you don't know about Val Kilmer or you don't know who he is, it's this guy. He's played roles such as this one and this one. Yeah, so he got throat cancer. I'm pretty sure it's throat or lung cancer. I'm pretty sure it's throat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got throat cancer in 2015. So he could not do a lot of movies or TV shows for a long period of time. He actually had to teach himself how to speak again. And this movie was filmed in 2017, so it's only 2 years after he suffered cancer, and you can tell that he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. He's playing a character that you're not meant to understand what he's saying a lot. He's playing a creepy superintendent, so he's not meant to, be able to be clearly understood, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if they wrote this role specifically for him, or they catered the role to him, or it just happened to fit the role perfectly when it was written on paper. But he's fantastic. He carries this movie. He's a supporting character. Obviously, he's the actor with a big name. He's not the lead actor. He's not even the second lead actor, but he's supporting, and he is in it enough. If you're a fan of Kilmer and you want to watch it because of him, he's in it enough. If you just want to watch it for him, you won't be disappointed. So really, the synopsis behind this movie is quite basic. So when I did watch it, I thought, it's going to be cliche. I was wrong, like I said. But the storyline is ex-cop. His wife has passed away, so he's widowed with his 2 girls. They move into an apartment complex. He's the super. Very creepy place, very creepy hotel. The lobby makes it look like it's, really hoity-toity, but it's not. It's got a lot of dark secrets. Kind of everyone in this has got a lot of dark secrets, so I don't want to reveal too much because even the plot itself was very vague and whatnot. But a few jump scares, but it's mainly, it's like, oh my god, like what's going to happen in this movie? Like, what's happening next? Like, who's bad? Is she bad? Is he bad? Like, I don't want to reveal too much because it's got a very good twist. But this is on Amazon Prime here in Australia. I don't know where else it is in the world, but I highly recommend it. Val Kilmer is just amazing in this movie. I'm about to listen to his audible book of his memoir, and I really hope he talks a little bit about this movie, but he may not because the book was released a year and a half after filming it, so I don't know, he might, he may not. But yeah, I put this under the supernatural category of horror film, so it delves with spirits, ghosts, hauntings, that type of style. So if you're into blood and gore and all that, it might not be for you, but if you're not into blood and gore, you don't like violence, but you still like horror movies that will have you on the edge of your seat, with only a few jump scares, not big ones, only a few little ones, this movie's for you. I highly recommend it. So yeah, that brings a end to this episode of the film and TV reviews here on Goose of All Trades. If you enjoyed it, please, like I said, hit that like button, that subscribe button, check out the links below to my merchandise, my Twitch, and my other YouTube channels. Hey, if there's any movies, TV shows you want me to watch and review, put it down in the comments. This has been Goose for Goose of All Trades, and thank you very, very much for watching. I'll catch you later.